This video is brought to you by Squarespace, the easiest way to create a beautiful website. Look, I have been craving a Zelda game exactly like this for a while, but I have some serious beef with this game. Hear me out. So yeah, I have played a fair amount of Zelda in my lifetime. Not like all of them or anything, oh my god. I'm a casual enjoyer, really. I recently finished Tears of the Kingdom, and boy, did I have some thoughts about that game. I haven't talked much about it with you guys, but by the end of it, I was feeling super open world fatigued. I don't even think that it's the game's fault, really. I've been feeling this way about a lot of open world games recently. Games are just too damn big. I just feel that there were certain parts of Tears of the Kingdom that did not need to be that big. So I was excited for a game like Echoes of Wisdom. Tons of people were stoked to have Zelda, the actual Zelda, be the main playable character in her own game. Now, I hadn't played the Link's Awakening remake, which you can see a lot of similarities in art style, especially. Echoes was co-developed by the same company that co-developed that game, Grezzo. Grezzo helps Nintendo quite a bit with the remakes and remasters of the Legend of Zelda games. I didn't play this game until it had been out for a while. So of course, I heard the hot goss. The word on the street, well, the words are mixed. Some really liked Echoes of Wisdom and praised its old school Zelda feel, and others felt like it didn't live up to the hype. And I agree with both sides. Gonna be real. We're gonna talk about it right after we talk about you and your small business. Having a professional web presence can help take your business to the next level. Setting up a website has never been easier because of Squarespace. Squarespace has so many gorgeous templates for you to choose from for just about any type of business. For example purposes, I'm gonna go ahead and start a plushie selling business. Brand personality, quirky for sure. From here, we're able to build our homepage. I'm definitely going to be selling products, so that would be very important to add to my homepage. Adding a shop page is very essential. Quirky color palette, let's go. I like the ketchup and mustard thing going on here. We are fans of Climate Crisis, but we're gonna change it up a little bit. Oh, there's just so many options. Boom. That took me a second. And it's so easy to go through and edit all of these assets on this page. So I'm adding in all of my product images, and I can change everything from like the shape of the photos, and boom, look at that. Of course, we would need to add our physical products and count our inventory and everything, but Squarespace just makes everything so seamless. They offer so many tools to help you take your business to the next level. When selling goods and services online, it's easy to set up flexible payments with many popular payment methods. Set up appointments and invoicing directly through your website. Squarespace has great SEO tools to help your website get noticed on the web. You can sell video content and courses. And there's tons of business management tools. It's truly a great service. If you're interested in upping your web presence, go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And then once you're ready to launch, head to squarespace.com/listthelass. Or you can use my code listthelass at checkout and you'll get 10% off of your very first purchase of a website or domain. We've all seen the trailers, right? The game's opening sequence features our OG hero, Link, traversing a dungeon that has Zelda trapped at the end of it. Oh gosh, I wonder who this could be. Hog. No, it's Ganon, and we get to fight him as Link. We just got out of the tutorial, so it's not like all that hard or anything. It may seem like it because I suck, but I digress. His defeat causes a rift to open up beneath Link and suck him up, and now the game begins. Kinda. The opening sequence is like 30 minutes long. Zelda narrowly escapes the big bad rift, and I really thought she was gonna get arrested here. Not yet, anyway. Upon her return to Hyrule Castle Town, she engages in buckloads of dialogue. My god. We get to see some familiar faces like Impa and the king. He's so big and round. I really do love the art style of this game, truly. It's so good. We learn that rifts are stealing people away and causing quite a bit of trouble, and no one seems to know who Link is. You know, he's just some swordsman guy. Lorage. But yeah, after several minutes of dialogue, the king and his council, employees, I don't know, they all get sucked up into the rift. They re-emerged all evil. He's not so cute and adorable anymore. He's throwing Zelda in jail, his own daughter. And now there's gonna be this rumor that Zelda caused the rift to open. Oh, Lord, we're in a real pickle now. While locked up, we meet Tri-tip steak? Hey, maybe we should have tried a little harder with the name. Tri's our little partner in crime. They're gonna help us save the world with the use of echoes. I will say, echoes took me a while to get used to. Zelda doesn't get to engage in typical combat for a while. You know, she's pretty reliant on echoes for most of the game. Echoes of Wisdom actually started out as a dungeon editor for the Link's Awakening remake, but they thought that the idea of spawning in objects as a gameplay mechanic was interesting and could make for some really fun gameplay. See, I agree. I think echoes are great. It's not just inanimate objects like we see in the very beginning, and it gets a lot less limiting as the game progresses. But it took a while for it to not feel like clunky and weird. Even though we're not even to the part of the game where you actually have to come up with creative solutions. Like, I don't know, it just felt really weird initially. Anyways, platformer moment. There is such a good mix of both top-down 2D and platforming. I really like it. So then Zelda makes her big escape from Hyrule Castle's basement or whatever and is finally free to explore the world and collect even more echoes and engage in real combat scenarios. We're not off the hook yet though. There's a baby dungeon before we can get into the real deal. After visiting Link's village and learning more about what an awesome guy that guy is, man, don't we miss him? And learning the meat echo, oh hell yeah. And some other echoes, you know, I don't know, trampoline is cool, but you know, why on earth would I use this sign? I don't think I used it once in my playthrough. What a waste of space. Anyways, we need to go save an old man who lives in the forest, which was quite the journey full of caves, more caves, and monsters galore. I'm starting to get used to echoes, but my god, is this UI pretty intense. This is also a gripe I have about Tears of the Kingdom. Was there really no other way to organize all of this? I know, there's a whole menu view too, but it's just overwhelming either way. I don't know what the solution is, okay? Tri here's got the power to open the rift for us. And then we enter the still world to search for Tri's friends to help mend it and return the surface world back to normal. There's a lot of still worlds in this game. It is so cool, you guys. I love these little sections of the game. Aesthetically, banger. We gain a new ability, Guide, allowing us to move objects directly aligned with Zelda's movement. And this dungeon's, you know, it's nothing special, just kind of a good showcase of everything we've seen so far. The platforming, gathering new echoes that give us certain new abilities. Some are helpful for just getting around and others are better monsters. There's even a mini boss, you know, the man himself, Link, but purpley. He's all evil style, so of course we had to do it to him. At the end, we gained another ability. Combat, melee, give it to me. A new system, blue mode. Essentially, we get to swing sword and use shield and all of that jazz while in this mode, but alas, it is fleeting. There's a blue energy meter that prevents us from staying in this form for more than a few seconds. I don't know about you guys, but I feel totally cucked. Sometimes a girl just wants to hack and slash, but I guess we just can't win them all. There are ways to replenish the energy, but for the most part, you kind of just wait around for the little blue energy balls to come at ya. So yeah, we have to use our combat abilities sparingly, which as you'll see, annoys the fuck out of me. Anyways, we have a big bad boss to get to. I won't go into too much detail. This is the intro dungeon after all, but it's a rock. Something I will note, you are intended to use the guide ability on the bosses in this game. I did not know that until way later. So I imagine that this boss fight and every boss fight could go very differently to you. But I didn't have a problem targeting, you know, his big old rock ball with my dillos and keys and whatever else, and then just whopping him silly once the ball was vulnerable. it was an easy dub. So far, my biggest beef has been with the UI. I know everyone and their mother is bitching about it, but I think it needs help because the more echoes I get, the less I want to use the full range of them. I hate basically pausing to search through all of my echoes, either on this little wheel thing here or in the menu. I don't know. I'm not a designer. I just found it to be really frustrating the more that the game progressed. And then of course, you guys know, my other gripe is the blue sword spider mode. But I do understand that the game is trying to force you to think outside of the box and really just, go all in on the echoes. It gets better. It definitely gets better. So from here, the game is more open-ended. The rift has been repaired. We saved the real version of one of the king's peoples, Minister Lefty, as well as the mysterious old man. The old man, Lubery, will upgrade our sword and energy using might crystals. And we get to choose Gerudo Desert or Jabul Waters. Or just walking around, it's open, baby. Because the world is smaller than what we're used to, it does feel a little bit more jam-packed than other games that, I just won't be mentioning it anymore in this video. I was feeling a little story-pilled, so I went to visit the Gerudo Desert, typically one of my favorite regions. At first, it was feeling a little extra empty, you feel me? Like, I know, it's kind of always like that because it's a desert, but I just didn't feel like there was a ton to do initially. So I was getting worried, but then I stumbled across the oasis and was chilling after that. Honestly, I'm a big overreactor. I did engage in the oasis activities, a mango harvesting minigame where I took the grand prize that I never figured out the use for. And then the smoothie guy, this whole smoothie thing. This needs to be quicker. It takes a painfully long time to whip up a smoothie, my fucking god. The idea of making smoothies the rest of the game was so unappealing, actually. Like, I would just go buy red potions if I felt like I didn't need to make anything with any other benefits. I had mad hater energy for the smoothie man, okay? The Gerudo storyline goes as follows. We meet Dona, the daughter of the Gerudo chief, who, instantly trusts our ability to mend rifts. A little too quick, but cool. She's a rider. The establishment, however, isn't super stoked on the idea of trusting a total stranger. See, Princess Zelda's in a disguise, but even so, no one seems to know who she is. She's not the popular princess that we've known her to be. Anyways, they send us on a mission to try and mend 3 small baby rifts, each going south because there's no entry point for Tri to tap into. There's no way they were gonna trust us. But then all of the Gerudo soldiers that we helped along the way came to our defense and said, we're awesome, actually. And then we fucking rule. And so does the power of friendship. We do get our opportunity to prove we're not phony when a giant rift appears, and we fix the shit out of it. And we get one of my most used echoes yet, the platform. Vertical travel has been quite annoying, okay? Zelda can only jump so high. Once we find all of the little Tri-friends in the rift and even uncover a greater conspiracy, our biggest Gerudo dissenter was evil after all, just like our dad who tried to kill us and I'm not over it. The rift is fixed. I do wish there was a bigger cutscene showing it being fixed like we had seen before, but I understand why there's not. They save it for the real big ones, like the dungeons and all of that, not the measly little stinker rifts. Also, dialogue overload. It was especially apparent in these first 2 regions. We get it. The power of friendship and trust and whatever is dope. Let me in the dungeon. Okay, this was kind of exciting. There was a lot of moving parts in this dungeon. Some stuff even happened to me that I left thinking, what the hell just happened there? There was a couple of things that I never figured out either. How do I get to this chest? The worlds may never know. The goal is to collect echoes of statues from around the sanctum and correctly place them on the pedestals using clues from the tablets. I just kind of went around to all the rooms. There was, some outside sections within the rift too, and before I could collect all the correct statues, I was face to face with Link again. You can duplicate yourself all you want, Buster, but I'm still gonna whop ya. It took less than 2 minutes. I was a little underwhelmed. That's how all of these Link fights go. I don't know, but we got a bow out of it, making the sword fighter form even cooler than it is now. Once we had explored all of the rooms and collected all of the statues, we got our master key and headed into the boss man. This one took me quite a long time. The mole man. Curse you, mole man. The reason being, I kept running out of blue energy that I needed for the sword fighter form. I should have came more prepared with more energy smoothies. Like, echoes are great and all, but with all of the tornadoes, it's kind of impossible to keep any of them alive. Looking back, I wonder if there was something I could have guided Try to grab onto, but regardless, I spent a lot of time waiting for him to make sand mounds so I could get more energy for the sword fighter form. And then an echo did the final blow, and the final blow to my ego. Wow, we're done here, babes. Now, Jabul Waters. I spent quite a bit of time being on the way to Jabul Waters, though. It's kind of impossible to run around and not do side content. I also saw my first ever wanted poster, and yeah, that looks nothing like my queen. When I got there, I wanted to fill out the map, so I swam all around and was doing all the stuff over there. This caused me to discover and do a lot of the required side content for the quest before it even began. Or I suppose just discover the areas we were intended to visit and get their waypoints. Which is fine, and honestly made the quest go by super quickly. One of my favorite silly little side quests was here. This mom is all worried about her kid and wants me to bring him a fresh fish. We can make an echo of said fish, but he doesn't want the echo. He wants his mom's real cooking. So, of course, I had to haul the fish over there by foot and fuck it up a couple times, but it was cute. There's not only the little fishing village, but 2 clans in the Jabul region, the river and the sea Zoras. The 2 chiefs are in a little feud over their musical abilities. They both play music for Lord Jabu Jabu, but have been having creative differences. But something's happening with Lord Jabu Jabu. He's been acting up and terrorizing the villages. Seems rifty to me, folks. Chief Drad fell into a rift, and so, we do what we can to mend the rift and save him. Dumbasses falling into rifts all the time. Get it together, people. And then we get to save some kid in a cave that we already explored, actually. I did my due diligence, okay? I was all around town. Afterwards, the 2 chiefs realized that in order to save their region, they need to come together to play music less shitty. And then it was time to face off with Jabu Jabu himself. This was super fun. It was really simple and mini-bossy, but I loved having to navigate the water and choosing the appropriate echoes because a lot of the monsters will just straight up die in the water, so, it was nifty. The sword fighter form did a lot of the heavy lifting, though. You know how we do. Can't teach an old dog new tricks, The dungeon for this region was so dramatic, my lord, and puzzly. The water block echo is sick, okay? Goated ass echo. And then when I got into the dungeon, I fell into a hole immediately, and then I was chased out of the water, had to swim for my life. Oh my god. But yeah, the water temple is templing, girl. Dungeoning. We need to activate all of the colored switches to raise the water level and reach the box. The puzzles were all pretty simple, kind of baby mode. Nothing was too out of the ordinary. Every puzzle was pretty obvious, but it was really well put together and, sometimes even a little scary. The sharks, they got my ass, but hell yeah, I needed a powerful water echo. There was not another mini-boss in this dungeon since we fought Jabba the Hutt earlier, so we got all of the switches and went into the main boss of this area, Big Shrimp. Is he? Why am I doubting myself? He looks shrimpy, right? I loved that this boss fight was underwater platform style. It was just so cool, even if it was really simple. We moved around quite a bit. And the best part of all, I had no issue keeping my blue bar up, and we were whopping. At the end of each major thing that happens, Tri's power increases and either rewards us with another little triangle charge or will decrease the amount of charges needed for certain echoes. And now everybody's cool with each other, you know? We get it. The power of friendship, my lord. Okay, this is pretty cute and nice. I like this, but where is my dad? I guess General Wright, the other King's Council person, was in that rift. So we met up and he was like, okay, let's go to the castle and explain everything. They'll surely let us back in, right? No. Well, I mean, they were really not gonna let us in, but then the rift kind of halted all negotiations. Good thing we know how to fix those, am I right? It's kind of cool to be like in the castle so early on in the game and like exploring and doing stuff. And there was even a little callback section to the first jailbreak we had, which I loved going back through again with more echoes and the guide ability. God, it was so much easier. Poor Impa. She caught put in the slammer too. Luckily, we're able to save the day and get through the dungeon, which, oh my god, this game has so many more dungeons than you'd expect. Like, they really listened to everyone that was bitching about that from the Breath of the Wild era and said, here you go, you fucking complainers, have all the dungeons. Also, the best item in the game is in here, the frog ring. No longer am I constrained to just jumping one tile, which has been very, very, very annoying. The evil versions of the king and his henchmen are at the end, but they are not our boss. No, it's Ganon again. We're kicking it hog style. This was similar to the battle Link had with him in the beginning, just without the training wheels and with Ganon showing off a few new abilities. I did run out of health potions during this one, so I got a little desperate. It was a pretty engaging battle, you know? At the end, we even got a visit from our actual antagonist, and Link pulled up to help fend it off, and, you know, he got snatched right the F up. Doesn't feel so good being trapped in a crystal, now does it? So now that Hyrule Castle is saved, everyone's back to normal and is like, oh my gosh, our evil Echo counterparts tried to kill you? That's crazy, girl. Anyways, you must be the priestess from this prophecy, so get to work and repair more of those rifts. We've got 3 more regions to hit with our fancy new outfit since, you know, we don't have to be disguised anymore. There's the rifts at Eldin Volcano, Mount Lanayru, and the Faron Wetlands. But also, there's quite a bit of side content to be explored at this point. Side content that I really didn't throw myself fully into. I know, one of these things is gonna piss you off so bad. I went and got the horse, okay? I found the missing horse and brought it back and got my own horse as a reward. My own horse that I completely forgot about for the rest of the game. But there's also a side quest that grants a whole new ass mechanic that I didn't bother doing for whatever reason. This guy will give you the ability to spawn in clockwork creatures in battle, but I forgot to stop by his house. So yeah, I went the entire rest of the game without it. I know. I just didn't know that it was so important. To be honest, I didn't even know this was a thing until I was writing this review and I went and looked up somebody else's playthrough and they had like a whole other icon that I didn't have. Very sad. What can you do? The previously visited regions have new content too and new side quests, but yeah, I kind of skipped over a lot. Could be fun to revisit though. All of this stuff was very good and very engaging. I loved getting the cat suit and being able to chat with the cats, you know, a nice touch. And I'm a simple girl, you know, I see cuckoos and I corral them. But yeah, I just felt very main story pilled, I guess. I won't go into too much detail on these last 3 dungeons. You know, the Eldin Volcano region houses the Gorons, and their new kid chief isn't feeling so confident in his abilities to lead. We get to learn more about his struggles filling in his dad's shoes, and he even helps us take out some nasty monsters, so he ends up being more confident at the end of it all. Sounds a little familiar, but it was cute. It was quite a bit of running here and there and everything, and exploring the mountain was challenging as usual with all of the lava. But it was fun getting to interact with the Gorons and go through Darston's story arc. The formula is pretty straightforward through this game. Visit a region, enter a small rift and destroy it, hang out with the peoples until they can get you into the main dungeon that's in the very large rift. This dungeon was a little underwhelming. It felt way smaller than the others, and it had me worried that the rest of them were going to be less complex, but that was not the case. I just wasn't feeling this one all that much, which sucks because the Goron temples are typically really fun for me. I put in a lot of effort here to make the most of the echoes, like drowning the Wizrobe in water blocks. I did also figure out here that you can sleep on beds to recover hearts. Fuck. I was wondering why we were getting so many bed echoes. It's because each new bed restores more hearts. Oh, I love it. Our mini boss was Evil Link with bombs. Oh, you think you're crazier than me? I'll bomb both of us, bitch. This one was so super quick. Again, another quickie. At the end, we gained the ability to use bombs when we're in sword fighter form. These Link battles are just too simple. You know, I don't love them. I barely even use the bombs in this form anyways, because I have a monster that spawns bombs. He is a little more difficult to use, but I at least get to preserve my blue energy, which is the utmost importance to me. The main boss was the most difficult one in the game for me though. Volva. A dragon who jumps around to the little lava pools and shoots green orbs and stuff. See my blue energy? Not good. I've been using it as a crutch for far too long, so I had to depend on my echoes, which made this battle so long. See, I really wish it had been more obvious to me that I could use the guide ability to take his green ball. I did try it at the very end here, okay? But I didn't have the range of motion, and it wasn't the perfect opportunity to snatch it up, so I didn't ever try it again. But I'm also dumb. So I was mostly focused on running around like an idiot trying to snatch up blue orbs. After the rift was restored, we were visited by the goddess Din and were rewarded with Din's sanction. These last 3 dungeons will reward us with this power so we can unlock the path to the prime energy. Where am I low gang at? Anyone else feeling up to some prime and feastables? Ayo. YouTuber check. My next stop was Mount Lanayru, but I got sidetracked by a graveyard side quest rift thing, and then I managed to find myself in the Eternal Forest. I got whopped by a really powerful monster, but I'm no quitter. I had to go get that echo. But then I followed the tracks and stumbled across a Lionel, so yeah, I was out at that point. I feel like I shouldn't be here, you know? I'm also scared of Lionels. Okay, so me. Hebra Mountain. It's cold as shit here. I don't have clothes. I don't know if you can even get clothes in this game, but I had just enough cold resistance potion to get me to my salvation. The most exciting and pleasant surprise of the whole game, Yeti. You guys, I love the Yetis. The Twilight Princess Snow Peak dungeon, oh my god. It's one of my all-time favorite dungeons for any Zelda game. It just was so unique and so special and so fun. So I had really high hopes for this one. So Conde here lives on the mountain alone and helps us get out of the freezing cold. His brother went off on an adventure and his dad is no longer with us, like he's dead. But Conde thinks he saw his brother on the mountain running away, which made him really sad and is willing to help us figure out how to get there. We got rid of the rift that was stressing him out. He's so lovable. Oh my gosh. And then we met him on the top of the mountain. His brother pushed him aside and that made Conde very sad. And you know what? That makes me very angry. Upon entering the dungeon, we see a cave drawing made by Conde's brother that shows nothing but love and appreciation for Conde. He's just out exploring the world, you know, and he's gonna come back. But now we're very suspicious of the Yeti that had pushed him. Is that really his brother? Is it an echo? This is a back burner situation. We got a pretty banger dungeon to get to. This was the most non-linear of all the dungeons. It was a little challenging at times, dare I say. I'm not gonna lie. It was the first dungeon where I actually had to think a little harder and backtrack to figure out all of the puzzles, which, yeah, dungeon complainers, you asked for this. No, there was a couple of things that truly did stump me for a while. I had actually seen my buddy Wood struggle with the same puzzle when the game had come out, but I didn't remember how he did it. So yeah, you know, I had to look this one up. I'm not ashamed to admit that it wasn't totally obvious to me that the buttons had to be pressed at the same exact time. This mini boss was so fun though. He's a big blob that breaks into smaller blobs and it gets very chaotic and it was a doozy for sure. After a couple more stumper puzzles and just complex puzzle mechanics in general, yeah, you know, I'm looking at you, big snowball button. They really got my ass with this one. We melted the big spiky ice, but then we needed to refreeze the ice again and make it flat. Oh, that made me laugh. Devs think that they're so funny. The boss was the big evil Yeti who is confirmed to not be Kande's brother. This one was so dynamic too. Gosh, it was good. I used flying echoes to break off the ice on his helmet in the first phase, whopped him, and then the second phase, he has a fiery helmet spike thing going on, and the ice was melted away. So I had to use different elements to eradicate the spikes, and then he went sicko mode and alternated between both ice and fire. It was cool. Fan favorite of mine for sure. That's another sanction down, and we get to learn more about our big baddie waiting for us at the end, Null. They're all about destruction, creating rifts. You know the jam. And the goddesses spend a lot of time fighting them off with the help of Tri's little friends. And that's what we gotta look forward to, I guess. Kande's happy to know his brother doesn't hate him. That Yeti was not his bro. And his real brother is still on his adventure. It was really so wholesome. I loved this region and this dungeon a lot. It's just banger after banger though. Faron Wetlands, super goated. I feel like the beginning of the game was failing to fully grab me, you know? I'm gonna be honest, the game was, it was a slow start for me. I didn't love like doing echoes right away, but I feel like it's starting to get more like engaging and exciting, and the storylines are starting to become like more unique and less cut and pasty. I feel like these last two regions are like night and day from the first two. Dekus. Guys, Dekus, they live here. Oh, they're so cute and sassy. They won't let me into the sweet spot where the rift clearly is because I need a membership card, and the game does not tell you how to get a membership card, so you're forced to really go out and explore the region. All of the Dekus are also addicted to drugs. They've been spinning cotton candy out of spider webs. It's their obsession, and it's probably not good for them considering a spider from the rift is making all of the webs, so it's a little chaotic. In the corner of the map, I found a Deku whose house got swallowed by the rift, and they have a Deku membership card. So I was like, sweet, let me expel this dark energy, and maybe they'll give me my membership card that I need. Nope. My ass got thrown in jail. The Dekus were so pissed that I got rid of the source of their spider webs that I got locked in the slammer again. So then we had to bust out. The Deku that locked me up dropped a key, and I found them munching on some cotton candy, so they gave me my rod back, covered in sticky spider web. Great. I tried to just walk on out thinking it was chill, but I got thrown back in jail. This time I kept my rod and made my sneaky escape, and just as I suspected, I got a membership card at the end of it all. Let me in. These guys are junkies, my god. They're so distracted by their spiderweb crack that they didn't even notice the rift was swallowing them up. Better go save the day again. I had super high hopes for this dungeon considering how fun being in Faron Wetlands was thus far, but it wasn't my favorite, if we're being real. It was a learning curve initially, figuring out how to light up all the gems simultaneously, and I did enjoy that a decent portion of the dungeon was actually outside, and you had to go in and out quite a bit and find all the secret passageways to traverse through it all, but meh. I mean, it wasn't all meh. There was a decent amount of figuring stuff out, and there was a few puzzles that I left and had to come back to. I don't know why. I didn't love it, I guess. Maybe it was because the mini boss was so easy, like crazy easy, less than a minute dub. But then we did have to face it twice to get the master key, actually. And the second time it was way more challenging. The blue heads didn't want to take damage, so I had to wait until I had enough blue energy and bomb them out before whopping them. I do think using the guide ability would have been very appropriate here. And maybe it would have made me just enjoy this dungeon a lot more. The final boss was a big spider, the source of the spider webs the Dekus have been munching on. It's got 3 green crystals, so zapping all 3 with electricity ends up incapacitating it, and then womp. Pretty straightforward. All right, so now we've got all 3 sanctions. It's time to go to the ancient forest guarded by the sacred tree. Gee, I wonder where that could be. The Dekus decided to continue the cycle of addiction, unfortunately, because although there's no more spider webs, there's still smoothies to enjoy in copious amounts. I love it. As I was leaving, something really scary happened. Zelda got swooped up by that evil entity and they made an echo of her. Here comes trouble, and make it double. Try got us out of there, but now we have a serious problem on our hands. Okay, so I prepped before going into the Eternal Forest. I upgraded some stuff and made some smoothies, but I didn't do any more side questing. I probably could have gotten more upgrades and been more powerful, but honestly, didn't need it. The boss battle was something. I guess I did prep by going to get that Lionel Echo, which did cheese the entire rest of the game for me, but you know, I love a good cheese. So we use the power of our echoes to unlock the gate. Triforce moment. We get to the Great Deku Tree. Zelda's been let through. I feel like everybody needs a code word or something, guys, you know, for the Echo people. Anyways, we have a little standoff in the ancient ruins. Zelda's taking it. Bad Zelda. She tried to take the power of the Prime Energy, but a piece of it went to me and another piece of it went to Link. She's like, okay, girl, I'll deal with you later. I'm gonna go get Link. The very last rift was a callback to all the regions before. We made it through and finally face off with Zelda at the end. Lionel carries, my man. He takes up all 6 of my charges, so we're kind of just waiting for him to do all the bitch work, and then we swoop in to steal the show. Evil Zelda flees, and then we free Link, who is ready to stand beside us in battle. This whole time, I was thinking, you know, is he gonna say anything? Are we gonna be able to talk to Link and hear his voice? No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm tired of his nonverbal ass. They could have given us just a little bit, but we're so committed to the silent protagonist that we just have 2 nonverbal bitches in a conversation right now. And then, okay, here's where my major beef begins. Link needs his weapons back. I spent this entire game with an ability that I do not get to take with me into the final boss battle. This seriously pissed me off so fucking bad. It was a literal mood killer. I really just can't understand why my girl doesn't get to keep her weapons that she had this whole entire time. I don't give a fuck that they were Link's first. He should have to go figure that out himself. This last little dungeon can go fuck itself. I don't even care. It was boring to me. And then every room, Link would stop and nod at us constantly. I'm sick of him. So this is why I keep bringing up that we were intended to use the guide ability during the boss battles, because I missed that. And Zelda's literal primary purpose during the Null Showdown is to use guide. She's stripped of her sword fighter abilities and is essentially just a support for Link. So I spent, I kid you not, 20 entire minutes on this boss battle. Yup. I don't even care to explain to you all of the phases. The only one I really liked was the underwater phase because it was pretty dependent on like dodging and echoes, and it was the most engaging for me. The rest of the Null battle, I was just strategically spawning in Lionels next to the arms, really. It never clicked to me to go through this and try to use guide, which is so much quicker and is intended to show off the teamwork between Zelda and Link and be cool and fun like that. I actually went back and I redid this boss fight after I found that out. I was so seething mad as I was watching the credits that I went online and I looked up all the other reviews and what people were saying, and I found out that I'm not the only dumbass that didn't figure out that you're supposed to use freaking guide. And of course, it's so much quicker and easier and far more engaging to rip the arms away from the body and have Link go in and slash them off. God damn it. I guess Hyrule is saved. So yeah, I had a lot of opinions on Echoes of Wisdom. While I didn't necessarily love the gameplay style at first, I felt like it was growing on me. And I think it's a great example of how Zelda games try to get you to think outside the box. But sometimes, lesson learned, you should be thinking inside the box. You should be using guide during the final boss battle. I really enjoyed some of the regions. Most of the dungeons were fine and great, but there were one or two real standouts for me. But even saying all that, okay, I think it's a really stellar game. They just didn't have to cuck my girl at the end there. Sometimes the power of friendship is toxic, actually. I felt like going into the final boss sequence at the end without one of your abilities you played the whole game with sucks, actually. To be fair, I was missing 2 abilities because I didn't go and get the little robots. But still, I do think it was a little unnecessary. Even after going back and doing it right, okay, I still felt like it didn't have to play out that way. So yeah, my beef has been served on a platter. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. It's okay if you think I'm wrong. I'll live. I'll be okay. Like I said, I still really loved the game, and I want to see more games like this. I want to see more 2D Zelda games, to be honest. I thought it was a banger. I did think it was a banger. I just was a little bit disappointed. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, you might like the video where I played all of the Pikmin games. I don't know. I'm trying to think of another Nintendo video I did semi-recently. I hope you're having a great day and you continue to do so, and I will see you in the next one.